This has been standing here for centuries. The premier work of man, perhaps, in the whole Western world. And it's without a signature. Shot. A celebration to God's glory and to the dignity of man. Well, all that's left, most artists seem to feel these days, is man. Naked. Poor, forked radish. There aren't any celebrations. Ours, the scientists keep telling us, is a universe which is disposable. You know, it might be just this one anonymous glory of all things. This rich stone forest, this epic chant, this gaiety, this grand choiring shout of affirmation, which we choose when all our cities are dust, to stand intact, to mark where we have been, to testify to what we had it in us to accomplish. Our works in stone, in paint, in print are spared, some of them for a few decades or a millennium or two, but everything must finally fall in war or wear away into the ultimate and universal ash. The triumphs and the frauds, the treasures and the fakes, a fact of life. We're going to die. Be of good heart. Cry the dead artists out of the living past. Our songs will all be silenced. But what of it? Go on singing. Maybe a man's name doesn't matter that much.
Thank you, Mr. Wells.
Good evening.
For many years, you've been entertained by grand spectacles, whether they be good, bad, art, or trash. Those of you that watch these grand and epic-sized movies, you're only scratching the surface of film. So much out there that is available to you, the people, that it almost hurts. You miss so much. Sure, Marvel is doing great with all their movies, but you have to remember they didn't just hire these random people off the block. I mean, look at the guys that made Captain America Civil War and Winter Soldier. They directed a comedy TV show called Community. And the guy that started it all, Mr. Favreau, he made Elf. Yeah, the one that you all watch at Christmas, that Elf. Everyone starts small.
There was never like one moment where I was like, I'm gonna make films. That's what I want to do.
What domino effect started it all?
Honestly, like family. Because whenever I was younger, all I would do, like, to bond with my family members was watch movies. So I got exposed to multiple different genres because my dad loves huge, like, explosive action movies, and my mom loves, like, foreign films and dramas and, like, suspense, and then my sisters are huge horror fans. So I pretty much rotate between them and watch what they watched. And so from that, I sort of, like, started growing this fondness for, like, what I was seeing. And then as I got older, it sort of, like, started to click in my head that, like, oh, there's people behind the camera making these. Like, there's somebody who's in charge of framing everything. There's somebody who's in charge of that camera. There's somebody in charge of writing everything. And it sort of, like, hit me one day. I wouldn't say one day, but it sort of hit me that, like, I could be one of those people behind the camera making this happen and then producing it to show somebody else.
There's only a fraction of filmmakers that actually make it big, while the rest, with their knowledge and writing, stay on the move.
I want to make people think a different way. I don't like leading people to what they expect is going to happen. In the short films that I make, I like to make it seem like I'm going in one direction, and then in, like, the last minute, completely change it and leave people in a state of, like, what just happened. My one goal is to put a smile on a little kid's face, like what happened with me whenever I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker. I don't care if I'm not revered as the best filmmaker of all time. I want to know that I have improved someone's view on the world and just make a difference that way.
Every, like, director and actor has that, like, claim to fame movie that they're, like, known for, or that, like, kicked their career off. And that'd be great to have one, but it'd be better to like see a collection of quality instead of just one big one that sits at the top of a pile of crap. Like I don't want that needle in the haystack film. I want the entire haystack to be needles. And I know it's not possible, but that's what I try for.
The most important thing about independent filmmaking is just doing what you want to do, not having to worry about someone overriding your decisions. You have full creative control, which is very, very important.
So I like stories that are about individuals and about people, and that like if the film didn't exist, you wouldn't know about the event. So like big, grand, like save the world type scenarios, I hate, and I just can't relate to them at any level. So it'd definitely be something like bare bottom street dweller that nobody knows. Nobody, like his name means nothing until it's in the film. And it'd definitely be dark and have a little bit of dark humor and definitely be violent. I want to hear like legitimate criticism. Because I hate when people are like, oh my god, that's so great, that's so good, I love it. And I'm like, yeah, but like, what did I do wrong? What can I fix? What can I do better next time? I want to get better. Because you're never going to be at the level of perfection. You can't reach it. You can get close, but you're never going to reach it. So as long as you continue to learn and continue to grow and continue getting better and not rely on stuff that you've done previously or say that like, I'm already as great as I'm going to be, as long as you're still striving for better, I want criticism that will make me better. I want people to tell me when, like, I would have cut this scene a little shorter, or I would have changed this line, I would have done this. Just something to make what I do next even better. Not to be discouraged and not think like there's somebody who's better than me, so I'm never gonna reach that, so I should just stop. Because everybody has to start off pretty bad at what they're doing before they can get good at it. And when people say like, well, I don't have the right camera or I don't have the right equipment, people are making legitimate, serious feature-length films on phones nowadays. So the equipment thing is BS in my mind, because I know that you can do it. And I used to film on the giant brick camcorders that were like rolling tape, and I would have to steal tapes from my parents and copy over like birthday footage so I could make little cheesy shorts with my friends. And it was never about like we're making a masterpiece. It was always somebody with an idea and a camera putting it in front. So just keep working and never think to yourself that I can't do it, because as soon as you start doubting yourself, that's when you give up.